Hey everyone, this is Dr. Lori, and
JDP, and you are excellent.
there are a lot of myths and misconceptions when it comes to coaching. It's often conflated with mentoring, counseling, training, and even therapists. And each of those has its place, and there are dedicated professionals who can provide meaningful support at different stages of your career and your life. Coaching, which we're going to talk about today, is a partnership with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires you, the client, to maximize your professional and personal potential.
Lori, did you know that fully a third of Fortune 500 companies utilize executive coaching for their leaders? It got to me thinking, what does that mean for today's episode?
Well, today, John, we have an amazing guest. We have Pankti Killawala, who has written a really interesting piece on LinkedIn about the top 10 myths about coaching. And she's going to share a bunch of information with us today.
Pankti, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Pankti, before we get into the myths, we'd like to get to know a little bit more about you and your background and how you came to this. So would you share a little bit about yourself with us?
Sure. So hi, everyone. I'm Pankti Killawala, and I'm a leadership coach. It's my mission, basically, to empower high achievers so they can step up and become effective leaders. Prior to this, I was an actuary, and I worked in the life insurance market in the UK for about 15 years. Don't get me wrong, I loved what I did. It was a great job. I really enjoyed the challenges that got me. However, after having my kids, and then obviously throw in the pandemic, I was trying to juggle work and 2 children under the age of 4. And it just felt like I was being pulled in different directions. I couldn't spend enough time with my kids. I was always working. The boundaries between work and my personal life had gone really blurred. And I was not happy in my role. So I decided it was time to take a break, focus on what was important to me at that point of time, which was my family, prioritize, and think about what I wanted to do. And I did think, Lori, it took me a year to decide what I wanted to do. And I finally went down the route of coaching. However, my coaching is based on neuroscience and positive psychology approaches as well. So yes, that's what I do now.
You have written a post that Lori on LinkedIn, Lori sent it to me, and I immediately thought we have to have Pankti on on Coach's Corner, because you wrote about the top 10 myths about coaching. And I know I screwed that up, but can you just give us an overview of what brought you to that writing that?
Sure. So basically now, given I've been working for about a year now, I've come across so many clients because I work individually as well as with organizations who I have faced each of these myths and I have tried to explain. Also, when you talk to people, tell them you're a coach, and when I hear things which are related to these myths, I think I'd reached a point where I was like, that's it. I need to write a post to clarify this to whoever would listen to me. And I'm glad it got your attention, to be honest.
Not only that, and I should say that I'm located in New Jersey. Hey, look, we're in USA, New Jersey. Where are you located, Lori?
I am in the Chicago area.
So, Pankti, your post had international reach.
Yes,
because you're in the UK, right?
Yes, I'm based in the UK, in London.
I would like to jump into the first myth, which is coaching is only for people with problems. Can you tell us about that? Because that says a lot to me.
Yes, I mean, like I said before, when you're talking to some people there, and then someone just turned around and said, "Oh yeah, but you know what? I'm fine. I don't have any issues or problems." And it's just a belief that coaching is seen as an intervention tool, just like therapy might be. And I really wanted to say it's not an intervention. You don't have to be having a problem. You could be on track in your career or life and still go in and ask for coaching, because coaches basically act like sounding boards. They are like your accountability partner more than anything. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like I said, I work with organizations, and recently I had got a client a few months ago who was on track for promotion, and he was offered coaching. I thought he would be very glad, though I think he didn't. He came to the session, like the discovery call, and he was like, "So what's wrong? Why am I here? Like, what is not going to work for me?" And it was then trying to tell him, no, it's not that. You're on track for coaching, everything for promotion, everything is fine. Coaching is just going to help you get there quicker and become more effective as a leader. And it took a while for him to believe that, to open up to the coach, which is very difficult, because when you have a client who sees that as an issue, they don't open up and you can't help them. I remember in I think it was my second session, I was like, I'm going to crack this guy. And I was like, do you know what all these famous people have in common? Like, I gave him examples of Barack Obama, Serena Williams, Sheryl Sandberg, Bill Gates. I was like, they all got coaches before they reached the level where they did. He just rolled his eyes, though, to be honest, it did have an impact on him. Since then, he did start opening up a bit. And it was great because we worked together for about 3 to 4 months. And I could see after I had that pep talk with him, he started opening up. We started making small, achievable targets, celebrating those small wins. And the transformation was massive in those 3 months. I mean, his communication, his delegation, prioritization had changed. Not only he got the promotion, but he also started spending 2 hours playing football every week that he really wanted to do, which he couldn't. So he was like prioritizing himself as well. And he went back as a very happy client. So it was great to see. Once you change your attitude or mindset towards coaching, it's marvelous what you can achieve.
Exactly. Even the great Simon Sinek has a coach, and people like Serena Williams, like that you mentioned, would never be without a coach to help them continue to get better, even at the top of her game.
Well, I found it interesting that you said the person came to the coaching session and was like, okay, what's my problem? Yeah. Am I in trouble? And trying to get them to understand, hey, that's kind of not why we're here, right? But there are also people who sort of say, look at it like I don't have a problem, or I'm okay. Why do I need a coach? And they equate it to therapy. Like I'm not crazy, you're crazy. So how do we is that in the same vein as people with problems?
I mean, when my clients go down this route, I tell them, look, coaching is always forward focused. It's not about problems. It's about where you are right now, where you want to get. Think about it as a bridge that will help you get there. It doesn't have to be problems. It's just, you can be the best at what you do, but you can always get better, right? It's always about challenging yourself. And that is what a coach brings for you. They're not going to look at your past problems. They're not going to look at what you need. I have clients who have therapists for their issues, emotional issues that they have, but they use coaching as a positive light to take their career forward. So it's not like those things can't go hand in hand, but definitely coaching is not therapy. As a coach, I'm not sitting out there to discuss your problems. I'm not qualified to do that, and I wouldn't be doing that.
So Pankti, can you wrap this up for us? We talked about the myth that coaching is for people with problems, right? People who need improvement, people on the verge of being fired. Can you wrap it up for this myth and give us the truth of what in your mind and to you, and I think you've seen us nodding to us, is really true about coaching with respect to being supportive?
I mean, I would say think about coaching as a step to get to where you want in your life or your career. It's like a stepping stone, taking you in the right direction, and it will help you get there quicker and more easily, along with having an accountability partner to make sure you don't slip.
Awesome.
Nice.
Let's go on to myth number 2. And that is, so we've seen it here, and I'm sure you've seen it on your side of the pond. Lots of large organizations in particular provide coaching for their senior leaders, for their senior executives, and it's seen as a perk. Is coaching only for those folks? Do I have to wait until I get there?
Well, you've said what what I've heard. And that's the problem. My mission, like I said initially, is to bring coaching to the middle managers. And when I say middle managers, it's about the people who report into the senior manager or the C-suite. And I feel these are the employees who will benefit from coaching the maximum, but have no access to it. Like you said, it's not a perk for them when they get to that level, but they need it because a lot of them reach that level because they're technically excellent. They're very strong, but I'm really sorry to say, but they're not great leaders at that stage. But leadership is a skill that you develop, right? And there are many factors that is going to impact that. And I think coaching is one of them. I recently shared a post on LinkedIn where I had read about a statistic that 70% of the leaders or new managers basically fail in the first 2 years. Now that's a big, scary number, isn't it? And I really believe it's down to the fact that they do not get the support that they need, whether it's in the form of mentorship, anything else that they need in terms of softer skills, and coaching being one of them. So I really feel that they would benefit from coaching. I'll give you an example. I worked with a client who was a new mom. Just before going on maternity, she was promoted. And over here in the UK, we have a maternity leave for nearly a year. So people take time off for a year, and that's a long time, right? So obviously, when she came back, she wasn't feeling very confident. However, with coaching, she was able to step into that role, become more effective, reduce the overwhelm that came with managing a new baby and work. She got rid of all those imposter syndrome feelings that she had when she was going back into work and into this new role. And she could delegate better, she could prioritize, and she was seen, like her team really viewed her as a great role model. And by the end of the coaching, she was confident enough to go back to her manager and reduce her working hours so she could spend more time with her family.
Really?
So that was great. All in all, she got a very good result, which maybe without coaching I'm not saying she wouldn't get it because she was motivated. It would just take longer. Or she would give up, like a lot of the new parents who go back to work and feel they can't do it. It's too overwhelming for them. To give you another example, I had a friend's daughter who went to a career coach. And I'm giving this example only to show coaching is not just for the C-suite or middle managers as well. You could use it as teenagers too, or someone who's starting off in their career. So she used this career coach because she had amazing graduate job offers and she didn't know what she was going to do with that. So basically what happened was coaching really helped her figure out what she had, what sat in with her values, so she could get the help that she could at that stage and give her the clarity so she could go off and start her career in a good way and not double guess herself. That is another example where coaching really worked for someone who was just starting off a career.
Hey, Pankti, what you said got me thinking. You talked about the impact on the individual of coaching farther down the ladder. Can you talk about the positive impact to organizations? Because you said you threw out this interesting statistic that 70% of new managers fail within 2 years. So not only to me, the individual is getting coached, but can you talk about the organizational benefits?
Definitely. Coaching will definitely help them retain their good talent, right? You lose a lot of people at the mid-manager level, and unfortunately, it is more women, in whether you agree with it or not, right? It's just the way things are. When they have more responsibilities in the family, they are the ones who take a step back. So you would not only retain great talent, you will also encourage women to get back into the workforce. It reduces your costs as an organization to find a replacement, train them up to be at the same level. And then obviously you have a lot of people who are motivated to work in that organization because they can see themselves go up the ladder and be with it. So the loyalty improves. So I think for an organization, investing in coaching is a very small impact to the ripple benefits they will get out of it. Like you'll have motivated employees, you'll have loyal employees, you have reduced costs in terms of hiring someone else and training them up. So it's definitely multifold for them.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We've talked about that it's not only for the C-suite. We focus on middle management. We focus on women. We focus on career women who are also moms, who are also maybe head of household, and how the overall benefit to the company is retention, and ultimately, because you wouldn't be in business without the bottom line. So can we wrap this one up, and what are the truths here?
I think one of the main thing is it will give new managers or leaders the skills they need to become more effective if you get coaching in at that level. And then it filters down, because once they are good team players, it motivates the team as well to perform better. And for the organization, it is, like you said, it's about the bottom line. You improve your profits when you have a motivated workforce, a workforce that's going to stay with you, who are not going to leave, who are not going to jump ship. And it's just, when they are motivated, they work better, the productivity improves. So it's just very beneficial to get coaching at that level. Because I think, like I used to call this like the sandwich management level. They are stuck from both ends, but don't get the support that they need.
Sounds very win-win.
Yes.
Win for the employee, but not just the employee. It's an organizational win as well to invest in people below that C-suite level.
Definitely.
Pankti, this is one of my all-time favorites. Or not. Let's get into it. Number 3. Coaching is the same as mentoring. I can see you smiling, so this has got to be one of those universal myths, right? I feel like I should call the guy just from Mythbusters on this one, but I have you.
Okay, so I think a lot of people come to coaching thinking you're going to mentor them. I remember having clients who would be very upset with me because I didn't give them the answer that they wanted. And I'm like, it took me a while to explain to them how coaching is different, because coaching is all about asking the right questions, and and you as a coachee coming up with your own answers. I mean, I could easily sit there and mentor my clients and give them the right answers. However, they will be right for my situation based on my experiences, not theirs. And if the solutions I provide don't resonate with my coachee, they're not going to be motivated to implement them, right? So it is definitely more hard work when it is coaching, because you're not just learning or getting training or mentoring from someone. You're going to do that work of digging deep and finding out the answers that work best for you. And I think there's something about neuroscience that I should say here. It's about your brain and how it gets wired. When you find your own solutions for your problems, you automatically get that motivation to do it. I would take this in the line of not giving you an example of a coachee, but I have sat as a coach in the chair asking questions and saying, oh, I know, like in my head thinking, I know where this conversation is going to go. This is the next thing. This is the solution. And I've been thrown off and so surprised a lot of times the way the conversation changes. Like, there are things which obviously I don't think about because it's not my problem or my experience. And we come out of the other end of the session completely taken a different route to what I thought it was going to be. But obviously it works for my clients much better. And that's why coaching is effective and it works better than mentoring. And the positive for a coachee is your coach doesn't have to be from your industry or have similar experiences or backgrounds to you. Because for the coach, it's about asking those questions and bringing maybe a fresh perspective to problems that you've not seen, like solutions you've not seen before, because they have no idea about your industry or your experience, right? I live in the UK, like I said. However, I was born and raised in India. So I work with people from different cultural backgrounds as well. And I love navigating that because it's fascinating when you're just curious to see what happens in a coaching situation.
Is one better than the other, or do they both have roles to play, coaching and mentoring?
I strongly believe they both have roles to play. I wouldn't deny. I mean, when I got a mentor for my job, it was really good because I was getting that experience, the technical experience, my industry experience from someone who knew more about the role that I wanted to step into and learn from it. However, if I had coaching at that stage, I think the combination would have really had a different impact on my career trajectory than what it had. So I feel I know a lot of coaches who mentor as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some clients that I work with who are from the insurance background that I help mentor and coach, but I'm very clear about the boundaries. And I feel a combination of the two, or working alongside a mentor and coach, both is beneficial for you, because a coach is very different to a mentor. They're not going to tell you, they're going to ask you questions and make you think. That's more hard work than being a mentor.
I think we won't ask you to wrap this up and tell us the truth, because I think you just did that. And that is that the difference between these is that you're going to be asking me the questions. You're going to be making me do the hard work. It's not about my industry and technical skills. It's about my ability to lead.
This segment has been awesome because you are touching on things and dispelling common myths out there about coaching. And I think that our audience at large is going to benefit from what you bring to the table. I can't wait until we talk about questions 4, 5, and 6, right? And so with that, we are going to wrap up this segment with a thank you. Say, Lori, was this good for you?
I echo what John said, that I think your explanations will be really helpful to our audience, your audience, the audience, in general, to help people understand that coaching is not just for the C-suite. Coaching is not just for people who are struggling. And coaching has a role to play in addition to mentoring and therapy and other forms of intervention. Thrilled to have started this conversation. Look forward to 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10.
Thank you.
So guys, this has been your coach, JDP.
And Dr. Lori.
And Pankti Killawala. And always remember, you are excellent. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks. Thanks, Pankti.
Thank you.